about the fact that there were elements going into the supposed WMD sites ahead of our combat forces, ahead of the attack. Same in Bosnia. Our good friend Colonel Dave Hunt was actually one of the operatives. I was talking to someone who knew him when he was there doing what he was doing. So this is nothing new. And the big thing here is, of course, that Dave and I had information that we couldn't go into all the details at the time, but we knew a full week ahead of when it was announced that, yeah, we had people in there, they were doing things.
Right. The book to which you refer, of course, is the book that the Pentagon tried to prevent you from publishing and made you black out a lot of pages in.
Right. Operation Dark Heart. Right.
Right. Operation Dark Heart, Colonel. It's a great book, and people should read it, even though they're going to get the
right now
version
it's
that the government wants out there, not the
4:26
version you wanted to publish, but such are the
a.m.
laws under which
Eastern
we operate
time
at the present time.
in Florida.
We sued DOD on that, too. It's maybe
Yes.
it's out soon.
Would it be fair to say that the Secretary of Defense, that Colonel Mullen, that Admiral Mullen, and that the President of the United States must have known that Americans were on the ground, whether they're wearing boots or sandals, whether they're in uniforms or galabeas, at the time the President gave his speech to the American people on Monday night and mentioned nothing about it?
Judge, of course they did. And this is where I believe strongly in good oversight, and it would be irresponsible for us to drop weapons on targets in Libya without knowing exactly where those weapons are going. So, you know, if you think about the counter argument, we should have been touting the fact that while we're not putting people there in mass, we're making sure business is being done to make sure that the targets are being hit that we want to have hit. It's counterintuitive to think that we're going to trust other folks, other nationalities, to do what's necessary once we sign up to do it. It's in our best interest to know what's being done. We have to have guys there physically on the ground to do that.
All right, so if we have the men and women there physically on the ground, they obviously have arms with them to protect themselves,
right.
And they have to use those arms to get where they want to go. Why won't the President call that a war? Or state it differently, because you can't get into the President's head. Isn't that a war by anybody's definition? Troops on the ground, agents on the ground, and bombs coming from the sky.
It is a war. I got a nasty note from the Army on this on Monday about both what I said on O'Reilly and with you. And it's like I offered them the opportunity to say I'm wrong. Issue me a statement. I was over in New York. I'll go give your denial to the folks over at Fox. They wouldn't do it. So this is the deal. It's kind of a shell game here, Judge. The bottom line is when people like me were in the field operating, we always assumed that leadership was being told the right thing and then they were doing the right thing. We are now politicizing an area that we cannot afford to be politicized, which is national security. We've got to get away from politicizing these issues.
Got it. Colonel Schaefer, thank you very much.
See, we can't politicize what we're doing because we're doing it, but whether or not what we're doing is legal. See, every time I walk in this room, it seems to like want to cut my camera off a little, so I can't prove it. So never mind that. But how can we prove that they're doing something wrong when we don't know what they're doing wrong? How can we prove whether our government's doing something right? So it comes down to national security. Okay, so who is in head of national security? As I'm understanding, it's FEMA. It's starting to be more and more in head, and because they basically there are executive orders, and they're numbered, and they number to take over all means of communication, which means under a national, all it takes is one stroke of the pen to take the computer where you're listening to this. Right now, I still have a computer, and I'm telling what I believe to be true. Now, let's say it is no longer true. That can't happen, then you will still hear me forever. Because I will be on the right side of when everything that is known will be known. So I will be on the right side or on the wrong side. Now, maybe I'm claiming something that's false. Well, I will gladly be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. That some things that I believe, and I really haven't said really truly what I believe. I'm just saying, man, some things that I know, we have a central bank, and no one really knows who that is. Now, when someone proves me wrong, okay, some people in the government of the United States are accepting money from the central bank illegally. I'll claim that. So come sue me. Come Am I a traitor for saying that? I don't know, but who are we supposedly borrowing this money from? Oh, private bankers, private banks. Well, aren't the private bankers possibly some of the ones we keep giving money to every time they make bad choice decisions in who they loan? So let's say they loan money to myself, and then because they expected the economy to go right, but it didn't because of a hurricane, and then didn't they have safeguards in place in case the economy went bad? How could they invest money that they had no way of recopying, or at least a chance to recop at least enough to keep things on the square? But when they keep, from what I understand, someone keeps loaning our country money that we don't know who is loaning our money. Now some of it we know is China, but to what extent? And then people are talking, well, we'll give them some of our bridges, and like China wants the tolls on the Brooklyn Bridge or the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, and all the tolls for 1,000,000 years. In 1,000,000 years, China doesn't care what happens in 1,000,000 years. They care about what happens probably in the next couple hundred. So, of course we owe them. But did anyone tell me this? I voted for some presidents. I voted on some laws, I know, along the way. But it's all, everyone can say who they voted, but everyone could lie about who they voted. So, I mean, okay, so we all voted for this. It is all legal, maybe, but there's something not right. There's an and or missing out of the Constitution, and they changed it to an and. So someone who's a scholar, that's my theory, and or, and they changed it to and there's an or missing, and the or is our or putting up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. Schitt's Creek without a paddle. So we don't have our or. I may be totally wrong, but I think it comes down to the word or. O-R. In the human language, I don't know in Latin how you say or, because it may have gone back to Latin as some of it in our writing. So we might have the answer. Some people have been giving us clues, some say, and I believe it. So let's research the clues and let's file injunctions. I'm going to law school for I'm going to start school. I'm going to do it's my business. It's in law. And I'm going to research everything I can. Right now, I research what I do. I'm learning. So I will continue to learn. By the way, my house is nice and clean. So in case anyone wants to take me away like they did the other night, I invited police from Polk County in my home, and they took me away because I'm under the Baker Act in Florida, and it clearly states to use a Baker Act is that for someone to be in danger to themselves or someone else. Well, I just felt that because I'm in my home and my feet were dirty and my hands might have been dirty, well, callous. But they're clean. All my fingernails, all my toenails, I'm clean. I took all the water jugs from from when they came in. Anyways, I don't even know how that's bad. Why can't I have water jugs in my house? Or empty water jugs? What's the matter whether they're full or empty? What's the matter what type of jugs I have in my house? How can that be something to take someone away on because they have water or don't have water? That's still, I'm attempting to figure out why they took me away in the first place. Then they call me delusional or psychosis. I suffer from psychosis because I believed in, I started telling them about HAARP. So then they think I'm all crazy, saying we're shooting these rays into this ionosphere. And someone can reflect back and they can tell where oil is. They can crude oil in it. And they can tell where quartz crystals are. So anyhow, I'm downloading a lot, so I hope you all enjoyed this one. I don't enjoy it. I'm kind of tired, but next I'm gonna do a painting. I'll finish this one that I started. So y'all don't want to listen to me. I'll show you.